Hi all. In this class, we are going to discuss about KinD. KinD is nothing but Kubernetes in Docker. Okay. Normally, if you want to do a Docker cluster setup, how you will do? You you have to create a cluster. Inside that cluster, you have to declare two types of node. One is your master node. Another one your worker node. See, this worker node you can keep it one or two or multiple worker nodes you can create based on your loads, correct? Same like here also, master node also you can create multiple, but a typical Kubernetes cluster will have master node as well as worker node combination. So on-prem, you can create all these things in the on-prem, which means you have to create three virtual machines. Virtual machine 1, this is virtual machine 2, and this one virtual machine 3. So three virtual machine you can create. One inside the virtual machine 1 you can use, you can deploy your or you can create or install your master node components, and on virtual machine 2 you can create or you can install your master worker node components. Okay. So if you go with this on-prem, you need three virtual machines, and you have to manage all the components which is you are going to install in the inside the master. Correct? This is quite hectic. And another method we have, that is called EKS or AKS. Amazon providing Kubernetes service, that is EKS, and AKS Azure providing Kubernetes support. Same like GKE also we have. So we Google also providing this Kubernetes. What these guys will say? These guys are telling that okay, if you want Kubernetes service, no problem. We are providing. You can come and you can create a Kubernetes. You can use our Kubernetes service. Okay. In that, master node will be taken care by us. Okay. You don't need to worry about master nodes. Correct. Only you can spin up worker nodes. Correct. So only worker nodes you can spin up according to your whatever you need. Then you can spin up your worker nodes, and you pay only for these worker nodes whatever you are creating, and you have to pay per hourly basis, monthly basis, yearly basis. You have to pay for. So here completely this worker node will be taken care by you. You have to install pods inside the worker nodes, and you can deploy your applications. So this is second method. This is quite easy, but you have to pay for it. This is not free. You have to pay, but because master node components many times will give problems. Sometimes scheduler will not work, or scheduler will get down. API server sometimes will not respond properly. So those problems will be overcome by EKS. Though all this will be taken care by these cloud-based Kubernetes services. So only you have to worry about your applications, and you can deploy and smoothly you can make your application run inside the Kubernetes. This is second. But for us, when we start to learn Kubernetes, correct, we don't want to spend money, as well as we don't want to go and install on-prem, so that we have to install again three virtual machines, and we have to install all the components. Correct? It is quite difficult. Correct? So that is why what we will do, we have in the market we have KinD. So what, by using KinD we are going to do? So Kubernetes we are going to create inside the Docker, which means in today's video I'm going to explain. So this is what my laptop. Okay, so this is what my laptop. On top of this laptop I installed operating system. Okay, so just I it like this. Okay, so this is what my laptop. So on top of this I have OS. Which OS I have installed? I have installed Windows OS. Okay, so next, on top of this OS I have multiple applications. Correct? Some applications I have like a Chrome application, or I have a Windows Microsoft application. We have, correct, Excel and email, those things. Okay, so like that we have different applications we have. Same like I'm going to install Docker desktop. Okay, I just mentioned DD means Docker desktop. That is nothing but Docker engine. Okay, on top of OS I'm going to install Docker desktop. So this Docker desktop means Docker engine with GUI. Okay, previously we have installed Docker on top of operating system, and I have explained some videos on Datadog playlist, correct? So here on top of Windows OS, we are going to directly install Docker desktop. That is nothing but Docker engine plus user interface. Okay, user interface means you can see all the Docker containers, images, everything on UI based. You can see in the portal. That I'll explain you. I'll show you. Okay, so we have a Docker desktop. On top of this Docker desktop, we are going to create a kind cluster. Okay, so when you create a kind cluster, say for example, if you go and create one master node and two worker nodes, okay, one master node and two worker node, what kind will do? It will create in the node in the form of container. So this one is master node, this one container, this one worker node, one container, and another worker node, another container. So totally it will create three container. If you don't have this advantage, this setup, kind setup, then you have to create three EC2 instance or three virtual machines you have to create, or else you have to go and pay to the cloud based service, and you have to get that service for practicing, correct? So here for practice purpose we are going to use this kind, so that we are going to create our machines, master as well as workers, in the form of container. Okay, so this is what the advantage. So this is user friendly, and you no need to pay anything for this. Just you have to install on top of your operating system Docker. Based on the Docker you are going to create it. This is what we are going to see today. Okay, I'll take you to my GitHub repository. So this is what my GitHub repository. If you come here, um, let me show you here. So this is what dev pipeline. This is what my GitHub repo. And if you click here Kubernetes, then you will get many files I have created, different files. You can go with the kind cluster creation, Windows as well as Linux. If you have any Ubuntu servers, or if you want to deploy this kind inside your Linux operating system, then you can go with this. Today I'm going to show you on Windows. So first we need two components. One is kubectl that I need to install. Another one is Docker desktop. These two things I'm going to install it. Okay, on this server. After that, this kind also I'm going to install on my operating system. So whenever I create any cluster by using kind, then what happen? It will create the node on top of this Docker containers. Okay, now I'll show you step by step. Okay, first we'll install Docker desktop. Okay, if you want to install, you can directly go to this page. Okay, so this is what the page, that one, it will redirect here. So you have here Docker desktop for Windows. You can go with this method, Microsoft Store. If you go and type here no Docker, then in the Microsoft Store itself you have Docker desktop. From here you can download it here. You can install it. Okay, or else you can download this and you can install. I'll go with this. Okay, so I click on it. The moment when I click, so here it is downloading. Yes, now I'll open, or I'll execute this file from here. So it is asking yes. See, after that it may go for reboot. So it is asking configuration, use WS instead of Hyper-V. Okay, no problem, I'll use WSL. It will take some time. It will take 5 minutes to complete this installation. So meanwhile, I'll pause this my recording. Okay, Docker desktop installation has been succeeded. Now I'll close this. Okay, I'll go and I'll open Docker desktop now. Go to search. Now you go and check Docker desktop app came. So open it. For you, it may go for reboot first time when you are installing. Okay, so if it asks reboot, then go for reboot. I'll accept. Okay, it is asking my mail ID address. If I want, I can log in with my credentials, but I don't want to log in it here. Just I skip it. Okay, so now Docker engine is starting. And here the beauty of this UI, I told correct user interface, Docker engine plus UI. This is what the user interface you could see here. And here you have RAM, CPU, disk. This utilization also you can see. This is the one of the advantage. And second, in companies they will not allow you to install this Docker desktop on your laptop. Okay, this is just for testing purpose we are installing, so that it will be easy to you to monitor everything here, how many containers you are creating. Anyway, if you want, you can go and run and see by command as well. So I'll prefer to go and run the command itself. Okay, see here, this is what the things. So here you could see how many containers are running, image, volumes, Kubernetes, everything you can see here. So now I have installed Docker desktop. Okay, what is our second request? Second prerequisite, you have to install kubectl. So how can we install kubectl? To install kubectl, we have inside the Kubernetes. Okay, if you type install kubectl in the search, okay, then you will get this page. Here they have mentioned how can we install kubectl binary. Okay, for Windows. Actually, this is for Windows. This also I have given here the steps. If you want, you can go and you can check the repository and you can follow my this repository. Okay, first what you need to do, you have to install it. But before that, what I will do to run these commands, okay, we can go and run it on PowerShell. But instead of running PowerShell, um, I prefer Git Bash. Why? Because I'm a Linux guy. I know Linux commands very well, so I prefer this to run it on Git Bash. If you have a very good exposure on Windows PowerShell, then you can run these commands on Windows PowerShell as well. Okay. For that, what I'll do, I'll go and I'll download Git Bash. Okay. So how to download Git Bash? If you go and search Git Bash download, then this page will come. Just click on it. After that, you can install the Git. So for Windows, we are going to install. So here, click here to download Git Bash. Git for Windows. So this is what the one. Now I'm going to install this Git Bash as well. So it will give you the feel to like a Linux operating system. You can run Linux command by using Git Bash on Windows Server. So already exit. Okay, no problem. I'll go and give next, 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 next. Okay, let it finish. Okay, it's about to finish. Okay, done. I don't want to see any release row notes. Just finish it. Okay, done. I have downloaded Git Bash as well. So I'm going to Git Bash. If you open, then here you can run commands. Okay, so that say for example df-hp, if we give, then it will give you in the Linux format. Slash is nothing but C drive. Okay, C drive program files, and that is what it has taken. And D drive completely it is showing. Okay, same like uptime commands. If you run uptime commands, it's not working. Date command, okay, date command is working like that. So that is why I prefer Git Bash for me. If you are good at PowerShell, then you can go with PowerShell itself. Okay, so now I'll go with go to my directory. I'll follow steps. Okay, so this is what I'm going to install kubectl. To install kubectl only, I downloaded this Git Bash. So here you can paste it, enter. Okay, so if you type ls, see here currently I am standing in the C user Windows. Windows is actually my username. Let me check who am I. Your command is working. No, it is not working. Who am I? No, this command also not working here, but it is a Linux command. Okay, so I logged in as a user. That username is Windows. That is why it is taking by default C user Windows. This is what my home directory. Okay, so now and inside this directory we have a folder called bin. Correct. So inside that bin, I'm going to move that the downloaded exe file. Correct. So move kubectl.exe to bin. So bin directory I'm going to move. After that, I'll set a path. export this path. Okay, so paste. So here mine is Windows, correct? So Windows W caps here. I think yes. Okay, so export path also done. Now I'll go see kubectl version hyphen version or normal version. Okay, kubectl version. It is working fine. I'm able to access. Okay, so I have done two things. One is I installed desktop Docker desktop and I installed kubectl. To install this kubectl, I am using git bash. Okay, that is why I install git bash also. So two components done. Next, I'll go to my steps kubectl version. Okay, that also I have checked. After that, we have to install the kind. Okay, this kind also, as I said, this kind we are going to install on top of operating system only. Okay, and so this is what the page, if you go and hit, this is what the page will be open. So here you have quick start. Here they have given how can you install this kind on Linux, Mac OS as well as Windows. So they are telling that go and run on PowerShell. As I said, I'm going to use this one. Okay, so I have copied the same thing here, call whatever they are preferring. So I'll go and I'll paste it here. Okay, if you see kind.exe, kind windows amd.exe, this has been downloaded. That is the exe. This is also just a binary file, so that I'm going to move this kind whatever exe is there, no, that is on my users bin directory. Or simply I can move kind to bin. Okay, inside that we can move it. After that, how can we check whether it is whether I'm able to access or not? So just type kind. So okay, so kind version, so it is giving kind version. Okay, but the problem is here, we have to type kind windows version, something like that. So what I'll do, I'll go to the bin directory. Inside the bin directory we have kind, correct? So let's grab a kind, correct, kind.exe. I'm changing this name. So move kind.txt to just kind.exe. Okay, that's it. Now cd double dot. Okay, now if I use kind, this command will work. Okay, same kind hyphen version, then it will give you the version, the same output which it was given. Okay, so now we are able to access without hyphen version. It is giving output like this. Okay, no issues. You can run any command. So kind is working fine for me. Now you have to create a cluster. So the moment when you are creating the cluster, so what happen? It will create a Docker containers, correct? If I go here, I'll show you. See, here I have installed kind, correct? So I have my laptop. Okay, inside the laptop, operating system is there, OS, Windows OS. On top of, I have multiple applications I have created, and here I created Docker desktop. Okay, and here if you see, I have installed kind as well. On top of OS, I installed kind. Okay, so the moment when I am trying to create any cluster, so the kind will go and it will create on top of Docker engine. Okay, so that is what it's going to do. So I'm going to run this command to create a clusters. Okay, what is the command? The command is kind cluster something. So this one you can see in the document also, kind document. If you go on Google, just if you type install kind, then it will take you to this page, or you can directly take refer my things. Okay, so if you come down, they have given every informations. So how to install the kind and how can you create a cluster, everything they have given here. Okay, So this is what kind, create, cluster, and name. Okay, I'll give. So here I am going to give cluster is my to something like that. Okay, my app. Okay, otherwise my cluster, something like that. I'll give name. So I'll create. See, the moment when you are creating, it is actually downloading the image for node. Okay. After that, it is downloading the image from the internet or Docker Hub. After that, it will create a master node or node. Okay, on top of Docker engine. And that information you can see here as well. If you open this Docker desktop, okay, here there is no container, correct, as of now. After some time, see, the container will be show here once this cluster is, the installation is completed. And second, see, in my laptop I have 16 GB memory I have, correct. So for one worker node or one node, normally it will take 2 GB, 2 GB to 3 GB. Okay, so if you want one worker node and sorry, one master node and two worker nodes, then it may utilize your 6 GB to 8 GB RAM. Okay, if you have totally 8 GB RAM, then definitely it's quite difficult to enable kind here. Okay, that's it. It is telling that hey, we have installed a cluster. So for that, kubectl. See, kubectl, why I installed kubectl? Because by using kubectl only, we can go and speak with the cluster, Kubernetes cluster, correct. So here we already installed Kubernetes cluster, but the node we are created in the form of container. Okay, kubectl get nodes. If you type nodes, see, only one control plane has been created. The status should be ready. Initially the status will be not ready, then after wait for some second, 20-30 seconds, then it will become ready. Okay, this is what the my cluster control plane it is created. Control plane and master both are same only. Okay, and it is taken latest version 1.35 latest version it has taken. So I have created my worker node. Now you can go and you can check whatever commands you want. Kubectl will get pods. Okay, sorry, pods, then it will give you the pods. Okay, kubectl, there is no part so far it is created. We will create and I'll show you. And second, this is single node cluster. Why? Because what you have given here, my cluster, the moment when you are giving, then it will create only one node. If you want to create multiple nodes, what we have to do, I'll show you that as well. And now I'll open this my Docker container. See here, Docker desktop. See here, you can see the container. And if you go and check the image, so this is what the image it downloaded. From this image only this container created. Okay, normally as I said, I don't recommend this GUI because in office, in company, they will not allow you to install Docker desktop. Okay, for learning purpose you can use it. So now we have the pod. Okay, that pod you can, normally we will not deploy any pods inside any application inside our control plane, correct. So what I'll do, I'm going to create multiple worker nodes. I'm going to create worker nodes um, along with the master node. Okay, so how can we create multiple worker nodes? That also they have given here. Okay, so how can you create multiple nodes, everything. But if you go and see my document, I given step by step clearly. See, normally if you want how many clusters it is running, for example, you can create multiple clusters. Okay, so during the time you can check how cluster list. Okay, so kind get clusters, if you type, then it will give you how many clusters we created. As of now we created only one cluster, that is single node cluster we created. My cluster name was my cluster. Here it is my two, but I have selected there my cluster. Okay, now and one more thing, whatever you are seeing here, that you can see via command line also, correct. So for that, so just give docker ps, then you are able to see the container which is running. This is what the container. And if you want to see the images, then you can come and see the images here. From this image, this container has been created. This container created and running as a node, it is acting as a node. Okay, node means virtual machine. So master node. Now we will go and see how can we create multiple containers. If you want to create multiple containers, create YAML file. Okay, in that you just use the kind call cluster. Okay, this kind is nothing but this is Kubernetes kind. Okay, and API version. Then nodes you can give how many nodes you want. So I'll copy this. I'll open my git bash. Here I can go with va command, and let me clear this. So now I'll create with vi. So you can give YAML file name whatever it is. You can give abc.yaml also you can give. Correct? No problem. It will work. But for understanding purpose, just I'll give cluster.yaml or multi-cluster.yaml. So inside it, I'm going to create. Okay, already I have this file. So it is I created already that in this place. Okay, so I'll create next of vi my cluster. Okay, my cluster dot YAML. YAML or YML. It will work both the extensions. Okay. Press I. If you don't know about VI editor, go and see my Linux operating system playlist. There I have explained how to create how to work with VI. Okay. VI text editor in Linux. Okay. So now I created. If I do cat my cluster.yaml, then this is what I pasted inside this. So kind cluster API version and nodes everything. Okay, if you feel difficulties with vi, then directly you can go this directory in the C drive users windows. Inside that you can create one file called whatever file, but the extension should be .yaml. If you create, that will be reflect here. If you see, if I type ls, see whatever I created, that file is available here. Which one is that YAML file I created? So my cluster.yaml file. Okay. Yes, my cluster.yaml. Okay. Now I have to when I'm creating kind, I'm going to create one more cluster with this YAML file. How to create that? So this is what the command kind create cluster name. So last time also we have given same command. In that just I'm going to add hyphen config. That's it. See, I'll take the same command which I run last time. So this is what the command I run for creating the cluster. Correct? This is what the command. So this time the same cluster name you cannot use. Why? Because already cluster is there. If you want to see how many clusters are there, then you kind get clusters. If you type this, then only one cluster is there. What is the cluster name? My cluster. Okay, so now I'm going to create one more cluster. That cluster is hyphen app, something like that, app cluster, and hyphen config. Here you have to give that YAML file. What YAML file we created? My cluster.yaml. So what I'm telling, please go and create the cluster. The cluster name is my cluster hyphen app. Okay, uh, when creating this cluster, go and read this file, this YAML file. Inside that, I have declared how many master node, how many worker nodes I need. According to that, you please create it. That is what that is what I'm telling. That is what kind will go and it will tell. So now you see two images are ensuring that two node images it is trying to download. After that, it is preparing nodes. Okay. After that, it is writing the configuration. So starting the control plane. First it will start the control plane is nothing but master node. Correct? So master node, once this is successfully come up, then it will go and create two worker nodes. So CNI for network integration, storage classes. After that, it is joining the nodes. Nodes already it is created. Now it is joining with this cluster, two clusters. So everything is done. Now Kubernetes, sorry, kubectl get nodes. If you type kubectl get nodes, totally I have three nodes. How many nodes? Three nodes. One is control plane. See, this is ready and these are not ready status. Okay, these are not ready status. So it will become ready state. You have to wait for some time. See, it become ready. Now we have one control plane and two worker nodes. See, this control plane, you are not going to deploy anything here. So your application will go and sit on worker nodes only. So this is worker node 1, this is worker node 2, and all are 1.35.0 is the version, current version. Okay, so this is how you can. Now I'll go and check docker ps. How many container will be running? 4 containers are running. How the four containers are running? Because here the only three nodes are running, correct? Because if you go kind get clusters, so already we created one cluster, correct? My cluster that is running from long time. This is what the from 8 minutes before it is running. This is what my cluster. Okay. See here itself it is giving my cluster hyphen control panel, and this one my cluster app, my cluster app, my cluster app. So totally one container for my single node cluster, and these three containers for my cluster hyphen app, that is multi node clusters. In that one cluster one will be acting as a control plane, sorry, one container will be acting as a control plane, and rest of the two are acting as a nodes. Okay, this is how you can install. And one more thing, and you might ask us, see, two clusters are there. If I run kubectl get nodes, then out of these two cluster, this particular command will execute on which cluster, correct? So that is why we have some commands. Even though if you have multiple cluster, you can go and get the get context. If you run this command, so get context means it will tell you currently you are in which cluster. Okay, even though if you have multiple cluster, it will give you. So currently see here, we have here kind my cluster, we have this one is leave it, that is internal purpose. Okay, these are the two clusters. Currently wherever you are seeing star, correct, wherever you are seeing star, so currently I am standing on this cluster, which means whatever I'm running the command which is starting with kubectl, that will go and execute on this cluster. Okay, if you run this kubectl get node, it is not showing four nodes, correct, it is three nodes only. So currently it is going and hit to this cluster, and it is giving you the output. If you, okay, if you want to run any command on this cluster, then you have to change the context. Kubectl config use context, then you have to give the cluster name. If you want, you can just paste it. After that you have to give the cluster name where in which you are going to interact with. So I just paste it here, and now you go and check. Okay, get context, you just go and check config get context. Now see star has pointing to this cluster, correct, which means whatever command I'm going to run it here, that command will go and hit on this particular cluster. See, now it is showing get cluster node 1. Okay, now let me jump into my 3 node cluster. So my cluster app, okay, this is what kind my cluster app. So this is what the cluster name, correct, so name cluster name. Okay, so it will paste it here. Okay, I jump it here, then get nodes, I'm able to see. Shall we go and create one pod and check whether I'm able to create a pod or not? For that also, if you want to go and check the pod, then you can go and you can check. So if you want to see the cluster info, then you can go with this cluster info. If you want to see only one cluster, then cluster info hyphen hyphen context, then you can give the cluster name here. Okay, after that, if you give directly cluster info, then it will give you the information about all the clusters which you have created. Now if you want to create any pod, then you directly can go to the Kubernetes document. So this is what the Kubernetes page, kubernetes.io. So here you can go with the documentation, click on documentation, it will take you here. Here you can go and search with any word, then it will give you the information about related word. For example, pod. So if I want to create pod, then you can go ahead and you can create a pod. So here they have given nginx pod. So I'll just execute, I'll copy this, and I'll go to my this one v my I go to my git bash. So here you can create, let me clear this. Okay, so vi pod.yaml, again this yaml file name you can give whatever you want. So you can give xyz also, no problem at all. Okay, xyz.yaml insert mode, and I'm just pasting here the content. So it's pasted. I just escape shift colon wq. Okay, so here if I have just a cat xyz.yaml, the moment when you do xyz.yaml, whatever I copied there, here I mentioned. And if you don't familiar with vi command, then go to this part, see user windows. Inside that you can go and you can create your own file by using graphical user interface. Okay, create a file called anything file called .yaml and paste those content. It will work. Okay, and now I'm going to create this pod. So kubectl create. So I'm going to create. Directly you can go and run this ada command also, create pod hyphen image something like that. But I'm going to use this YAML file hyphen f kubectl create hyphen f xyz dot YAML, which means create a pod. Okay, create something. I want to create some object. So that I declare what I need to create, all those things I declared here in XYZ. That is what I mentioned. So inside the XYZ, we have declared kind is pod, which means, see, this kind is different. This kind is your Kubernetes API kind. Okay, this is not Kubernetes in Docker. Okay, this is different. API version, kind, metadata, spec. These four are important fields in the YAML file. Minimum, bare minimum fields. You can add multiple fields going forward, we will add and we will see that, but as of now these four fields are important. Okay, xyz dot yaml I have created, I have mentioned, and inside that I have given all these things. So here metadata is nothing but you are just giving the pod name. Okay, and specification inside the container I'm going to declare which container. This is container name. Instead of nginx you can give nginx 123 also, no problem. Same like here, pod name also you can give 123 nginx something like that. You can give whatever name you want, but here image you have to give the exact name. Why? Because whenever you are declaring image, this image it is trying to download from your Docker hub. If you give, if your image, if your name is not matching, then it will say that your image is not there, then your pod will not create. It will go for image pull error, some errors it will go. Okay, and version 1.14.12, that is what the tag. Okay, so this image will download from git sorry Docker hub, and it will install, and this is port number. Okay, port number 80. So I'm exposing my nginx application by using port number 80. This is what the container it will create. Okay, so this is what the container we are creating inside the container, which means, see, container inside the container, correct? So this one created master node. This one, if you see, this is the, say for example, worker node. Okay, inside that we are creating one more container. I'm going to create. See here, pod has been created. Now I'll go and run kubectl get pods. If you run kubectl get pods, then it is container creating, which means it is downloading the image. Okay, then it will create a container, everything. It should, after that it should expose everything. So now you see, you are able to see the container, and hyphen o void, if you type, then it will give you the more information. See, it is allocated one IP address for my pod. Okay, if you run curl, and this IP address colon port number 80 exposed, correct? Okay, so actually what happened, whenever you are declaring anything, you, if you want to, because my, this one is my laptop, correct? From my laptop to I'm going to speak with here. So for that you have to declare a service. Without service you cannot access it. Going forward, we are going to see how create service everything. But by using this IP address, you can access your pod. Okay, if you really want and check, then you can go with the port forwarding. Okay, by using port forwarding also you can do. Let me show you kubectl port hyphen forward, then you can go and give pods, and which pod I'm going to forward. This is what nginx, this is what the pod name. Okay, so I'm going to use 8080. This is my source port number, and which is my container port, container exposing on 80. If I give, then 127.0.0.80 it is coming. I open my browser, any browser, then just I'll go and I'll paste it here. When I give, see, welcome to nginx, it is coming. So this is port forwarding, is nothing but you are just communicating your pod, whatever the pod is there, correct? Inside the pod, whatever application is running, that you are exposing your laptop, local laptops 127.0.0.1. Anyway, if you don't understand, just what we have done so far, we created kind, we deployed our kind cluster. To deploy our kind cluster, we need two things. One is kubectl, another one is Docker desktop. So both we have installed. After installed, and we installed our kind cluster also. Then we created master node as well as worker nodes. So in that worker nodes, I have created one container, okay, or pod. Here we should call it as pod. So inside that pod I have deployed my nginx application. That nginx application I just try to access via browser. Normally if you want to access from outside, you have to create services. Without services in Kubernetes you cannot speak with pods, okay, or speak with your application or speak with your container. You need service. Okay, if you don't have service, then what we can do, we can port forward, and just for testing purpose, you cannot run the application and all by using port forwarding. Okay, this is just for testing purpose. We can port forward on our local ports, local host IP. Then we could just check whether I'm able to access to my pod or not. Okay, I hope this session will helpful to you to create. And one more thing, let me show you how can we remove the cluster. If you don't want cluster, say for example, I have two clusters here. If I don't want cluster, it is very simple. Kind delete cluster and hyphen name. Okay. Now kind get clusters. If you go and check, see two clusters I have. I don't want this my cluster. Then kind delete clusters. Then hyphen name. Then you can give my cluster. Okay, this is what the cluster name. Let me check whether it is running or not. Hyphen name, it is not working. Hyphen name. Okay, let me give directly cluster, not yes. Okay, let me try with this. Okay, see, kind delete cluster and hyphen name, you can give the cluster name. So if you go and check kind get cluster, then only one cluster is available. Like that, for practicing purpose you can go on, you can check. And one more, just I would like to show you kubectl get pods, correct? So kubectl get pods, if you run, sorry, not kind, kubectl get pods. If you run kubectl get pods, one pod is running, correct? If you go with iphone o wide, then it will give you more information about it. See, this particular pod is deployed on worker node, because how many nodes I have? Kubectl get nodes, if you type, I have three nodes. One is control plane node, worker node, and the worker node 2. The moment when I run this command, which the pod has been created, correct? Here kubectl create -f xyz, the pod has been created, it was showing, correct? So the pod automatically your Kubernetes deployed on worker node 2. That is what I said. So if you have master node and worker node, then your Kubernetes will first will try to deploy your all the pods on these worker nodes alone. So here only we are going to deploy our application and we are going to access this. Okay. Okay, thank you so much. If you like this, then please subscribe my channel and like this video.